Next, because there are a whopping 8 Premier League fixtures today. We're going to bring you commentary of 3 of those, starting with 2 games at 3 o'clock. Manchester City up against West Ham. That's on 5 Live, whilst Brighton against Sunderland is over on Sports Extra. That will be followed by Tottenham against Liverpool. That's at 5:30 here on 5 Live, where Thomas Frank will hope that Spurs can bounce back from that 3-0 defeat to Forest last weekend. And here's what the Tottenham boss had to say when he was asked about what he would say to fans about their recent poor form.
I think definitely 10% of the fans always will question the head coach, no matter where they are. And then there will be a big group that are the, how can I say, the loyal one, or the one that can see a little bit bigger perspective. But I would say to the Spurs fans, I would say that first and foremost, it's a privilege to be part of this fantastic club.
Well, let's speak to Tottenham fan and YouTuber Chris Cowlin and Liverpool supporter and Red Men TV host Dan Club. Morning to you both.
Good morning.
Chris, if you don't mind, I'll start with you. A really interesting message from Thomas Frank there. What did you make of it?
Yeah, morning, Jeanette. I tell you what, you should never, ever criticise the fans in any way, shape or form. He's done this a couple of times now and fans are getting frustrated. This season, we've seen a real lack of creativity, lack of shots on target. Some games have been extremely boring, and I'm trying to be positive here. There have been a lot of empty seats at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we finished 17th in the league last year, and Tottenham fans expected a lot more when you make a managerial change, particularly after just winning a trophy, and that was a long trophy drought at Tottenham. The football has got to be better, a lot better, and the players need to perform a lot better. They're underachieving, and Thomas Frank has got to get these players playing. That defeat at Nottingham Forest last weekend was absolutely dismal, and we had a positive week, and we hadn't had many of those this season. So things do need to improve, but the way that he has spoken about the fans in a negative way this season, that is not a good thing. You need the fans on side.
You need the fans on side. And I guess the same question, for you then, Dan, as well. The fans have had to be really, really patient when it comes down to Liverpool's performances. But it's a big game away today at Tottenham, and for Liverpool to be able to build on last weekend's win over Brighton too.
Yeah, exactly that. It does start to feel like we might have somewhat found a semblance of ourselves, not anything like sort of the expectations or the hopes that we had coming into the season in terms of potentially retaining our title and looking even stronger for it. But yeah, I think given the turmoil that it felt like we were in 3 or 4 weeks ago, to now be 5 unbeaten, it's not a record that we're sort of shouting from the rooftops about, but it's better, definitely. And obviously you mentioned the Brighton win. There was the win away in Inter Milan in midweek as well that came before that. And I think we are starting to see signs that we are a proper football team again, and maybe we are ready to sort of challenge top 4, whereas that felt a long way off a while ago. So yeah, it's definitely looking more promising. Like I say, we were in somewhat of a disarray, and we're starting to question the manager, question the signings. Obviously, there was the Mo Salah saga that came along as well, so it was all a bit of a mess for a while there. But yeah, I think we are somewhat out of the woods.
And Liverpool are a club, they don't really like drama like that, do they? So the whole Mo Salah thing in the last few weeks was quite a tough one to take. Arne Slot said it's settled. Do you believe that it's settled now, especially since he's gone to AFCON?
Well,
now?
yeah, it's certainly been paused.
Yeah.
It may well be, play might be hit again when he comes back from AFCON, whatever that might be. But yeah, for the time being, I think it can definitely be sort of put to one side and dealt with as and when the time comes. But you're right, no football club needs that kind of level of drama when there's the star player who's coming out, the most high-profile players coming out and suggesting that he's lost a relationship with the manager, broken promises, and he's sort of questioning the hierarchy even above that. So it wasn't a good look for anybody, whether you think Salah was right or wrong in his reasonings. So yeah, to just sort of allow that not to be the story in the headline for a few weeks, I think is a really good thing.
So what do you then think, Chris, Thomas Frank has to do if Spurs are going to try and at least turn this around?
Well, the style of play needs to change. We need to play more entertaining football, and ultimately we do need to pick up points. And the positive that I would say is that we are 6 points away from the top 4, having had so many poor results this season and performances. But also we are only 6 points above 17th. The league table is quite weird at the moment. So we just need to keep getting the results and, having that positivity, particularly at home. Our home form in 2025 has been abysmal. This is our last home game of 2025. guys. So let's hope that we go into the Christmas period and the festive period with smiles on our faces and 3 points against Liverpool. But of course, Liverpool have come into a bit of form, as said there, and it's typical that they would do that coming into this game against Spurs. But this is a huge game, I believe, for Thomas Frank. It's a huge game for the fans, and I just hope that the fans really get behind the team today and Thomas Frank, and hopefully we can finish this calendar year at home on a high, because we haven't seen many great performances at home. But yeah, we just need to give everything today.
Yeah, and I guess for you as well, Dan, taking on Tottenham today, they have been struggling. Liverpool have kind of got the momentum. What do you predict will happen today?
Yeah, listen, I'd love to predict a win. I know Spurs are somewhat at odds with one another in terms of what they want, and having a bit of an identity crisis right now under Thomas Frank, who I really like, by the way, for what it's worth. But yeah, it's a difficult place to go. Always will be. They've got a lot of dangerous players. They've got a lot of threats in attacking sense, most definitely. So I'm not anticipating an easy game, but this kind of has to be a continuation, if not the start of something for us, because again, whilst the recent results have been better, the opposition hasn't exactly been sort of, top level, certainly in the domestic sense. So yeah, this today would be a real statement from us in terms of where we are and what we want to be. So I'm going to predict a 2-1 win. I just don't see us keeping a clean sheet, unfortunately.
All right. Well, thank you both of you. I wish you the best of luck. What a game just before Christmas. We're going to bring you 3 live commentaries across 5 Live today, starting with 2 games at 3 o'clock. Manchester City against West Ham is on 5 Live. Brighton against Sunderland on Sports Extra. And then at 5:30, as you heard Chris and Dan speak about there, it's Tottenham against Liverpool on 5 Live. 6:54 now. It's around the corner. So this is 2025's official Christmas